Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Triggering Chaos. We're doing a slightly different episode today.
We're gonna try being experimental again.
Yeah, we did something like this well before. It also had something to do with DC Heroes. We called it WTS. What the shit?
Mm,
Um,
mm.
Go ahead and change the title for that. If anybody's got any ideas, you can put a comment below, please. I'll take any ideas I can get. I will give full credit for the
I
ideas.
mean, you could have spitballed ideas out of me. We could have just
We
called
can
it.
still do that, but I'm just saying maybe some
We
fan
could have, dude.
interaction.
We could have called this chaotic news.
Shit, that's good.
Yeah, this is why you ask your co-host ideas before
I
you just
did.
jump in. No, no, you did not. You did not ask me for ideas for naming this. You asked me for ideas to cover. There's a difference.
But
I
we'll
thought
get.
you had a name.
Okay, so now we have a name. But I'm still
There we
curious if
go.
anybody else had any ideas. You can still put them below.
Oh yeah, that was just the first thing that popped in my head. Someone probably has a better idea than I. That. Anyway, we're just gonna cover some Uh, maybe not latest news, but news
Yeah,
that's been either bugging us or has
yeah.
impacted
You'll
us.
understand more as we go through. But basically, if you've seen something that you have high hopes for, but there's that little nagging feel in the back of your mind.
Mm,
Yeah. So the reason for this is that when we were doing semi perfect or wasted potential, we had a small criteria that one of us had to be invested in the show or seen the entire thing or played through the entire
mhm.
game or something to that effect. Like someone that has not an expert but has foreknowledge of the topic.
Yeah,
To be and at least have at least one season out, more or less.
a season, a few issues.
Mm-hmm. That's not the case for this. This is something that we saw the trailer or one of us saw season of it, and we just want to talk about what pitfalls we see going on.
Or in the case of one of these things, watch some gameplay footage and
Watch things fail
yeah.
drastically. So we're gonna start with the first thing. I don't really have much of a title card for this one, so we're just gonna go hop right into it.
Hmm.
So we're gonna start with. Let me just there we go. Netflix's The Avatar: The Last Airbender. Now, to be fair, to be a leap ahead of the movie, this isn't hardly to be better than.
I've actually heard people who think the movie was better than this. I don't think so. I
Not a
just,
chance in hell.
I, mm, maybe in terms of cinematic angles, it was better, but that's not very hard because
I
at
mean,
least the director is known for good cinematography.
yeah,
The effects, though, please don't compare these two effects.
no. I will give full credit. This one has decent bending effects.
Yep,
I
maybe
mean, it's
not so
nothing
much
that
the
can touch
earthbend.
the cartoon, but
Yeah, maybe not the earthbending is that great, but they do try and do it in the dark.
yeah, they're giving it an attempt to at least make it look impressive. I'll give them that much.
Yeah.
Um, Here's the problem with this, though. Number one, I can't go around it, but it looks like these are people with high quality cosplay, which is effectively what it is.
Yeah, and several of these, like, okay, I want to say this. From the clips I've seen, every actor is taking the first live action one and just throwing them underneath the bus.
Yeah,
But a vast majority of them are so outclassed by the voice acting equivalent.
but I was actually watching someone review this, and I gotta agree with them. Like so many fantasy movies and TV shows, they've all been grim and dark with a lack of color. But
Yeah,
the Avatar cartoon was full of bright colors and happiness and color. So, do I can I accept it being look a little cosplayish? I can accept that because
I actually don't have a complaint with any of the costumes.
I'm just saying, like I
I
kind of
don't like that. I don't like that image they have of Aang because it looks like he has a bald cap on, but that is just a bad rendered image for that preview. That's
yeah.
just me. In actual movement, the kid's actually bald. Looks good. Tattoo look good. Got no
Yeah,
complaints.
everything looks. They actually look like the characters. Like Sokka is like almost dead on for his
Oh yeah.
character,
Sokka is probably the best one who was translated in terms of visual appearance.
and that's
In
hard to
terms
do
of
sometimes.
character transfer, not one of the best.
Well, here's the
Honestly,
problem, and
honestly,
okay.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The problem is that Avatar, being a cartoon, brought out the personality in almost an over the top way in certain circumstances.
Mm,
So they tried to tone it down, and the things that they toned down ruin the character arcs for them.
yes, this is a common problem with when you market it to live action. You immediately think, let us make this gritty and realistic. Real people don't have fun like that. Real people don't go through character arcs.
I mean, there's two prime examples I have of this. The first one is with Sokka. If anybody remembers, Sokka was a bit of a sexist at the start.
He was a little bit sexist because he was the only boy of age in his tribe and the only warrior trained. Everyone else was not trained the art of warrior.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of, and all the men left to fight the war. That would have caused a little bit of inflated ego and a little bit of misunderstanding of the sexes.
Right, and
He, li-
he's not
and when he
okay.
actually meets a group of warrior women who kick the crap out of him because A, they're well trained, he's barely trained, and B, they've dealt with his shit before. They
Right.
clearly act like they've dealt with that before. And what does he do? He realizes, shit, these people can fight. Please teach me. And that is one of the best things about Sokka is every time he falls face first, failing miserably, he gets up the fastest to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime he feels depressed about, I can't keep up with my friends, he tries to improve himself some way, be it through out of the box thinking, a wonderful episode about him learning swordsmanship, which I think is probably my favorite episode of that
It
season.
is mine. I will admit to that.
And that's the season that ended the show, so but yeah, that's Sokka. And that is a thing that happens in real life. People learn from their mistakes, but to be realistic and to not set off people, they took that they defanged Sokka. I
Right.
don't like Sokka being sexist.
What
I
now?
like Sokka learning not to be
Now, what
sexist.
happens in the show is that it pretty much turns into like a rom com of Sokka and the girl. And please don't hate me. I forget the girl's name.
Suki.
Suki. Thank you. And they're just because Suki never apparently saw a boyfriend before or a male apparently feels like some at some points
I don't know,
they
maybe just Sokka's sense of humor was endearing to her.
they just kind of hook up with no real connection or effort between the two. He just shows up, says, "I want to learn," and she's like, "Okay," and
Mm,
it feels lessened because of that. Like Sokka didn't learn anything.
mm. It just he didn't get his ass handed to him first. He didn't have a arc to go through. Yes, that is a bit more realistic, but here's the thing. This is a world where if people strike certain poses, they can shoot fire out of their hands.
Yeah,
I want you to take your realism and throw that under the bus.
I mean,
I do not I don't watch fantasy stuff for how would the real world interact with this. I go there because I want to see the fantasy stuff. That's why, as
mm-hmm.
much as we all make fun of the isekai genre from anime, it's so good and refreshing compared to a lot of like, oh, here comes the gritty realism in our magic system. No,
Yeah,
I just want the video game drop down menu, and I don't even watch that many isekais. But when I do, I have a lot to choose from. I don't have a lot to choose from good Western fantasies.
yeah. Unfortunately, but like I
I
said,
but on the plus side, this has done one good thing.
mm-hmm.
More people have gone back and watched the original Last Airbender.
Yeah. The other problem I have with this is that Aang wants to be the Avatar, but everything is telling him that he has to be alone when doing this. Like to be
Yeah,
the
that's weird.
Avatar, you have to be alone and travel on your own. And the
But
biggest one that well, I should say three because that was another one. The biggest one is
mm,
with Boomy because he was my favorite character from the anime. Because
yeah,
it's
he has some of the best jokes in that one. I absolutely love one of the last lines he gives is, "Oh, someone important is missing from your group. Where's Momo? He's with Aang. Oh, then they're okay then."
but Boomy taught Egg how to
Boomy,
think outside the box, not to be tied down by simply by what you see.
yep,
By giving him
don't,
these three tests, like to
yeah,
find Boomy's pet, which was the monster that was chasing him because he kept calling the creature's name.
yep.
Um, he fought Boomy in a contest of bending.
By teaching him the lesson of, all right, pick anyone on this stage to be your bending opponent. Two huge jacked up guys. I picked the king. King takes off his robes, even more jacked. Oh
And so
fuck.
he was teaching his friend that he knew 100 years earlier. How the hell is Boomy still alive? Good health.
Mm,
Um, not to see things for what you see, but for
Yeah,
what they are.
yeah, frail old man. I clearly can beat up. Oh no, no. That's the one that made me go, okay, he's not just crazy. He actually has good ideas in
His
terms of
craziness
teaching.
has a point.
Yes, you mad genius, you.
Now, his craziness still has a point, but it's a point that, oh, you're the Avatar. You have to make tough choices when you let this for the be it in this war 100 years ago. Yada yada. It's like Aang left because he was 12, not ready to be the Avatar. I can't blame him for that shit. He
I
was.
don't mind the Netflix version of why he left, which was it's shock. He needs a little bit of airtime. That makes sense. That's a legit like, and then him getting caught up in the storm completely coincidentally, not his fault. Don't mind that so much, but it does take away from his character growth of learning to accept that. No, I'm sorry, 12-year-old boy, but we have to put the fate of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, this one wants to be the Avatar, and it feels like this shouldn't happen so soon.
No. Now, if they there is one thing they did, which I like and dislike with this series.
What's that?
I've watched the opening clip of the Fire Nation versus the Airbenders.
Yes, a lot of people said that was good.
It's legit good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a bad idea to put that at the very start of the show.
I,
I would have loved that to be the flash. Like he gets through the temple and has a flash. We get a flashback of that. We don't. The characters don't see it, but we, the audience, see what happened here.
yeah, I could see that
That
work a lot better, but I can't denounce them because either way, it's still a good scene. It does display a lot of what happened for Aang.
there's a YouTube channel I watch a lot. I really love his work for Avatar series. He literally it's called Overanalyzing Avatar, and he brought up a fantastic point and why I'm not going to watch this series.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't get over the process of why was this show made, watching this show will only infuriate you. Once you have managed to get past the why, you can probably sit down and watch this. I'm still at the stage of why the fuck are we constantly turning animation and then downgrading it into live action? There's not enough examples of taking live action and making animation. I almost always find that to be an upgrade
Well, you see,
because you can do so much more animation when it comes to fantasy. I'm not saying never make a live action fantasy. I'm just saying,
please
what
stop
if we
making
took
things
the,
like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball because
yeah, please stop taking things that were already successful in animation and trying to make it live action because some people can't watch something that has been doodled or made on a computer. They need to see flesh and blood humans doing it
mm-hmm.
because they just don't have. It's so rare to have a movie that does the special effects that can make you believe it. And it's so hard to have characters say lines that work in animation working in real life. For example, this is I don't like this Uncle Iroh in this version. I've seen some clips of him, and he doesn't come across as a kind man with wisdom. He comes across as a fortune cookie having to spew wisdom.
Well, I was gonna bring up
I, I,
Uncle
I,
Iroh.
Iroh's Uncle Iroh's wisdom in the original series was basically just a happenstance of him. He just had something wise to say that came out of him naturally. He wasn't like, now let me sit you down and give you these old man wise advice. It's more along the lines of, I got this. You maybe want to listen to this piece of advice.
Well,
All
you
right,
see,
carry on.
here's the thing: the way the Iroh looks, his image is spot on.
Oh yeah, I honestly I love how the Zuko turned out too.
Mm-hmm. So we have nothing against the actor either. So please don't think we're attacking him for that.
No,
He's
no, these guys are
mm-hmm.
I forget the actor playing Iroh. He is great.
Yeah,
I just
he's clearly giving
he's
it his
just
all for this.
he just has not been given very good lines in my opinion.
No,
Like
it's more of a problem with the writing and the downplaying of certain
he he, he
things.
he's basically playing the idea of Uncle Iroh. That
Mm-hmm.
you watched Avatar once, and a couple years later you remember, yeah, Iroh had some wisdom, and that's what you took away from Iroh. Whereas the original Iroh was Uncle Iroh,
I do
who
like the
had
scene
wisdom.
of Iroh at his son's funeral and him and Zuko kind of
Yeah,
bonding. So there are some scenes that I do think work well for it.
but there are some scenes where they've missed the entire point. Again, this is coming from Overland and Avatar. He brought up the Fire Lord burning Zuko's face. In the original series, he did this because Zuko made a stupid comment at the meeting, which was not actually stupid, but it appeared weak.
Mm-hmm.
It and he refused to fight back in the duel against his father. which appeared even weaker. So his father burned him and gave him an impossible task so he never has to deal with him ever again.
Mm-hmm.
In this series, he actually kind of fights his father. His father doesn't do that great against him, and his father looks so sad and terrible when he has to burn his son's face, but then gives him the quest to find the Avatar to redeem him, even though no one believes the Avatar's coming back. But it's said as redeem yourself, not get the hell out of my castle, here's an impossible quest.
And the
They
other thing is,
defanged the Fire Lord. They
yeah,
made him actually the Father Lord,
and the other
which
thing is, we're introduced to Azula way too early.
I mean, we do see her the first season, but you just see her standing next to Iroh. Iroh winces at his nephew being burned, and she just smiles.
Yeah,
That's
you
all.
see her,
That's
but
that's Az- that's Azula.
yeah, that's it. In this one, we see her. We see that she's calculating, cold, and
Also, kind of apparently clingy to her
yeah,
father.
she wants. She's really weird that because she just wants to upsert Zuko for it, rather than work on it for herself to get the crown. I mean, she
Hmm.
does hate Zuko in the anime, but it's just it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, yeah. It's not the same as the cartoon.
And the other problem, and I think this is another problem between anime and going to real life. They crunched season one so much
Yeah, they really, really did.
because I forget how many episodes season one was in the anime and Netflix, but
Hang on,
usually it's like
let me pull up
eight.
the original cartoon.
Yeah, usually it's like 8 or 10 for the Netflix series seasons. I think it was like 12 for this one.
I'm pretty sure it was 12 for this one. They skipped a lot of the fun adventures
Yeah,
because
that's the problem. Some of the fun adventures, like I wouldn't call them filler. It's them bonding and traveling.
book one water is about 20 episodes long.
So they had about an extra 8 episodes. So we'll give or take.
Yeah. Now, at least they did skip the episode everyone hates.
Which one's that?
Great Divide. The Great Divide.
Which one was that?
That's where they have to go through a canyon with these two villages that can't stand each other because one's a savage village and one's a prissy village.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Which I only like that episode ending where Aang literally lies to them by saying, "Oh no, your ancient rivalry is just was a misunderstanding. It's two kids playing a ball game, and I was there 100 years ago to see it." And I'm like, I like that Aang managed to end their squabble. I have so many problems with he ending that sort because even though it's 100 years is not that long for a feud to have gotten this bad. Regardless, I like how he solved the issue and then told his friends, "Oh yeah, I made that bullshit up just to get them to get along because their feuding was driving us all nuts." I like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
That's some,
I can appreciate that. That's not.
but that little thing there does not make up for that episode being boring, tedious, and making me want to just groan.
No, no, it does not. But you can at least understand where they were coming from with it.
But yeah, that is one episode of 20 in the first season I think is bad. Like
Yeah.
there's a couple episodes
So
I'm not big on. Like I'm not big on the episode about the waterbending squirrel because it makes Aang seem like a little douche nozzle, but he's a kid. He's gonna make mistakes.
well, in that episode, Qatar did all that to try and get the scroll to learn how to waterbend.
Mm.
In this one, she was given it was tucked in her backpack by her grandmother. Said the grandmother said, "Hey, listen, this scroll will teach how to waterbend on your travels." Like if
That's
she
half
never
entire.
looked in that backpack or lost it, that scroll's going bye bye.
They cut out Zhang Zhang, the firebender teacher who tried to teach Aang one episode.
I think that was cut out because I don't remember that.
Oh, I love Zhang Zhang.
I might be misremembering, but I don't remember anyone teaching him to firebend yet.
Yeah, Zhang Zhang didn't want to teach him at first because it would be out of order, but then Roku spirit teaches him, tells him, "Yeah, go ahead and do it. We're kind of in a tough situation here."
Yeah, I don't remember that one. I think they might have cut that part.
Oh,
But let's move on. But in a short note, the main problem is that they cut out too
yeah.
much. They watered down everything.
Ah, book one, watered down.
You're welcome.
I
But
know you didn't intend that, but I love that.
and
Here's the thing, though. Like we always say, if you're enjoying something that we don't care for,
hmm
enjoy the crap out of it.
I'm just
Don't don't.
noticing this now. But Zuko or not Zuko, Sokka kind of looks like a cosplaying as a assassin from Assassin's Creed.
I could see that. Yeah, I could really see that.
But like the costumes are fine. The bright
And you would
colors.
Assassin's Creed. A lot of ice climb. That actually sounds kind of fun. Even though I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game in years.
Yeah. But the bright colors, the outfits look a little silly, but you have to understand this is a cartoon they're trying
Yeah,
to make real life.
thank frig they didn't try and change the costumes. Like, I may not be the biggest fan of Aang, but I love the Airbender monk costumes.
Hmm. Now,
It took until his son for me to really appreciate them in Korra, but I'm that weird guy in the fandom who thinks Avatar was pretty good, but Korra kicked the crap out of it.
I have my issue with the Korra, but they're not anything that rules me
Yeah.
from enjoying parts of the show. But the biggest thing is when you see the Fire Nation's outfits, they did not travel to reality very well.
Mm,
But they're not.
fantasy armor sometimes does not.
No. And I'm not sure if that's just a material issue or if that's something
Lighting,
else.
I think it might be a lighting issue
I'm
because
just saying,
I
like,
know a lot of people have been complaining about the lighting of the show being either way too dark or the fire being too inconsistent with the lighting. I don't know. Like I said, I've only watched clips because I realized this is not a show for me. I just wanted to see a few examples of it and see if that would convince me. So I watched clips of my favorite characters, and I'm
mhm.
like, no, no, thank you, no, 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 no,
Well, you
no.
see, like I said, I don't hate it. I just see problems with it. And
I
like I
don't
said,
hate it either. I just feel like taking someone aside and going, why? And like over analyzing Avatar said, if you can't get past the why, you're just gonna make yourself more upset with it.
fair enough.
Also, if you want good Avatar content, do recommend his YouTube channel. He goes through every episode and literally
You
overanalyzes
have to send
Avatar:
me
The
a link
Last
to that
Airbender.
later.
Oh yeah, sure, sure. I also think he has one of the best Patreon gimmicks. Where if you pay a certain number of money, he tells a funny story about your Patreon name, and it's usually extremely flattering.
And yes, I understand that Siegel's eyebrows shouldn't be there, but give the kid a break. He's trying here, and that I don't think you should shave his
I
eyebrow for that.
cannot imagine every day shaving a guy's eyebrow and then putting that makeup on.
So, like I said,
I
it's
mean,
little things like
at
that I'll
least
let go for this.
yeah, at least he has the scar, unlike the Shyamalan Zuko, who
Yeah,
I honestly think they forgot to put the makeup on some shots.
yeah. But like I said, shave that off constantly and looking weird like that. Like when they make us off,
They
he'd still
already
be
they,
with
they already
without one
gave
eyebrow.
him the shaved head. I think that's enough to make the guy get shaved every day.
Yeah. So kudos to him for all this, and him, Aang's actor too, because I think they actually shaved his head for that.
Yep. I also am happy they have Katara's hair loopy things. I don't know what they're called. I just remember Sokka calling them hair loopies, and it's stuck in my head forever.
I think there's a name for that, but I'm not gonna be the one to know it.
I don't know it either.
I
I'm not
also
enough of that
like they
hair.
got Sokka's boomerang correct.
Yeah,
I think that is supposed to be a boomerang. I think because he throws it and it comes back.
that's boomerang.
Okay. So next one is going to be a bit of a sting for me because this is starting so well. It really is.
Meet
But
the Parkers, the Spider
I mean, this is
Family.
almost everything I want in a Spider-Man series right now. Peter Parker, happy, married to Mary Jane, has 2 kids.
And you're not even the biggest fan of Mary Jane.
I don't hate Mary Jane. I just think that at this point we're either too busy using her for a story hole of will they get together, will they not get together, will they not get together kind of situation, and it's just driving me
Or
up a wall.
when they were married, of her just being like, I'm so worried about Peter, cut back away from her. Like, then why did you cut her?
Yeah.
Like,
So
we don't cut. My argument to this is we do not cut to every issue of Batman to Alfred standing in the Batcave going, "Oh, I do hope Master Wayne is okay," and then cut back to Batman. No, you cut to Alfred when he's doing something either plot relevant or expanding his own character. Which, if you don't have ideas for Peter Parker's wife, then don't use her at that moment.
yeah.
If
So
you feel like you have to remind people Peter Parker's married, I think you're not very good at writing a married man.
no. But let's go over a few things real quick before we continue on.
Yes.
So years back, Ultimate the Ultimate Marvel Universe was destroyed, gone, finito. And the evil Reed Richards, known as the Maker, survived and came to 616 along with a few other characters.
Why did you? Yeah, yeah.
So the Maker tried to get to and recreate his own universe. Didn't pan out that well. So he pretty much went to another universe and stopped certain heroes from being made. Tony Stark was never Iron Man. Peter Parker was never bitten by a radioactive spider. The Hulk is living as a monk and working with the Maker, and a few others here and there that not really important at the moment because we're only 2 issues in right now.
Mm.
And Tony Stark, now known as Iron Lad, working with Doctor Doom and Thor, who is not the god of thunder, right? Or I'm not saying not taking over for Odin, who is pretty much a prisoner of Asgard, broke out, and we're trying to recreate the world that it's supposed to be with superheroes. Well, Maker didn't like that. And they fired a Stark laser at them, and a whole bunch of people got caught up in that laser blast. And now we're skipping to a certain time later. Excuse me.
Mhm. Again, I barely know much about the Marvels, especially the Ultimate Universe. It was not my cup of tea.
Well, the
But I
Marvels,
understand a lot of people loved Ultimate Spider-Man and loved the Ultimate Universe. But my experience to the Ultimate Universe is, my God, a lot of the villains wanted to be cannibals.
yeah, but the Ultimate Series was supposed to be a more modern take on the heroes.
Modern era, year 2000-ish.
Yes, which is fine because sometimes you need a reboot to the series to kind of get caught up with the times.
I'm not the biggest fan of reboots, but if you have a good reason to reboot, I'm usually not too upset. And especially if you decide to do it in an alternate reality. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
got no problem with that. Okay, a lot of people don't like multiverses right now, but that's just lazy multiverse writing. When you have a good reason to make a multiverse and decide to keep it independent, like the Ultimate Universe was for a long time, that sounds good to me.
Right.
But we'll get into a multiverse rant in a minute.
But here's the thing: we are now in this alternate universe. Peter is not Spider-Man yet, and that changes so much right now. First of all,
Hmm.
his uncle Ben is still alive. He is not dead. He works at the Daily Planet, or not Daily Planet. I'm getting
Yeah, the
my
vehicle.
the Bugle. Like I'm gonna, bleh. But he works at the Bugle, and Jameson actually likes Peter and Uncle Ben. Hell,
Yeah, because they're hard workers.
right. And MJ is a successful businesswoman doing whatever business things she does. I don't even know yet. We still haven't gotten to that point.
Hmm.
They have 2 kids whose name I forget because they're not involved yet.
Mm, that's not a good sign.
Well, it's only 2 episodes in. It's focused on getting Peter back on track, so I'll forgive it right now. Um, so Peter got sent an orb, and it's a message from Tony explaining things about how Peter was supposed to be Spider-Man, because this Peter feels something's missing, and he talks to MJ and says, no matter what you decide to do, she will support him. Well, funny thing is that he opens the orb, gets the message, and decides to get bit by a spider, and starts working on being Spider-Man, learning at this age how to be Spider-Man because he doesn't have any of the knowledge he acquired
Nope.
from being bitten back at 16 years of age.
Interesting sounding.
And the other thing is, like, Aunt May was one of the casualties caught up along with a bunch of other characters with that laser blast. So even that's changed. Norman Osborn's dead, also.
Okay, that I don't complain about.
No, but I'm just saying
I'm sorry.
it's something different.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's one of my least favorite Spider-Man villains. I know
Um,
he's iconic, but that's just me.
yeah, no, regardless of your feelings, I'm just saying I'm just pointing out the differences.
Yeah, yeah.
The
I'm
Kingpin bought
just.
up the Bugle, so JJ and Ben quit and decided to go open up their own newspaper. Even more
The Bugle
changes are
2.
happening.
The Bugle 2, Electric Boogaloo.
And they discuss it. It's like they said that telling the truth is not always the best thing to do, so they agreed that paper would never lie. And I can agree with this because sometimes you can't put the full truth in the paper because it might cause a panic when people are trying to investigate things or such. Like there's a couple of reasons not to do it right away,
Yes.
but that doesn't mean they have to lie to the people.
No, you can just say we don't have information at this time, or we are still researching.
Right. So I like this new approach to that. Um, the two kids. So that's pretty much the first issue. Second issue, Peter's working on being Spider Man, gets caught by his daughter, and she doesn't like the costume because it's too scary because it was just a black costume that was sent to Peter to with the unstable molecules to repair itself. Now, the warning sign I'm seeing it right now is that we're in issue 2, and what hasn't Peter done?
Told his wife.
Exactly. He hasn't told anybody. Like she literally said, as long as he still loves her, and I think it was implied they can provide for their family, which is
Mm,
another big concern. She will
that's a
support him the best she
fair
can.
concern. Because looking at this art, I want to say the kids are preteen to 5. I don't know. Our art on kids is almost always impossible to tell,
Yeah,
but they are clearly not young adults leaving the house. Surely.
no. Now I understand not telling the like a young child this
Yeah,
because God,
depending.
children just can't shut up sometimes.
Yeah, some kids can't hold a secret, and some kids will hold a secret of I accidentally broke the cookie jar until literally the day they die. So telling a kid can make sense, especially if we don't know much about these kids, because the story just seems to focus on them. Which, honestly, um,
I get
just
the
the premise alone of a dad becoming a superhero and having to learn all that lessons while also juggling being a husband and a parent sounds fantastic for me. There have been several good examples of superhero dads who keep their families involved.
mm-hmm.
Um, the best one I can think of is DC for a while did Animal Man. Animal Man and his wife were raising kids, and one of his kids became chosen by the same source of energy Animal Man himself did. So they had to run from a supernatural monster that was chasing the sun. Animal Man had to be provide for the family, protect his family, and be a member of the Justice League.
Now I say this, but I can understand them not family not playing a huge role just yet because, like I said, we're only 2 issues in. Third one's coming up soon, but
Yeah,
they're setting the basic groundwork first.
yes, but I honestly feel like basic groundwork should be Peter's home life first, then the universe around Peter
I
Parker.
fully agree, and they try to step with that with the daughter catching him at night when he was coming home, and I'm like, okay, so we're going with this stupid trope of
Yeah,
the daughter catching the father doing something and blah blah blah.
yeah.
I'm like, this is a early warning sign, and I feel that if
The
he
only way this could be make sense is if Peter looks at this and goes, "I can't hide this from my family. Better sit down with the whole family and tell them." If Peter then, but what I feel like is going to happen, which is why alarm bells going off, is Peter's going to kneel down to his daughter, saying, "This is a secret just between me and you. Can't tell mommy. Don't tell mommy. Don't tell mommy."
literally that's pretty much what just happened.
Okay, this story can go straight. I'm sick and tired. Like, I understand hiding your secret identity from people you don't know very well, or the general public, especially from people who might be a bad guy. But when you live with someone,
Like
that
he
infers a
hasn't
lot of
he has not said he's not going to tell her at all yet.
Mm,
So we haven't gone down that rabbit hole just yet. But I'm
yeah,
seeing the warning signs that if they're going to try and pull the it's going to be a family crisis because he hasn't told her he's Spider-Man, it's Marvel repeating the same mistakes that nobody wants to see with Spider-Man.
yeah,
Like when they did that first, okay, it's the first time and it causes issues. Fine, you're writing that. You can only go down that rabbit hole so many times before we're getting sick of it. And Marvel passed that limit ages ago.
yeah,
This was a chance to have Peter Parker have a family that they screwed over with the devil. Literally.
yeah. Marvel has this repeating issue when it comes to identities like that, and it reminds me of this repeating issue DC has, which DC is we have an event comic going on, we have to kill off so many X number of heroes, and then make no big deal this character is dead, which pisses me off. Like killing a hero and then having a funeral makes sense, but when like 4 characters die in this miniseries and you only hold one funeral, that tells me nothing about this character. It tells me that you just wanted a shock death and you did not want to put the groundwork in of let's just say one of the characters is a big time superhero in a big city and the only superhero here. But then we never address that superhero's death until we bring back that character 5 years from now in another event comic. What happened to that city?
Yeah, well, it just seems to be that, in fact, the whole new Ultimate series, because they're doing the Ultimate Black Panther's coming back. He's got one
Mm,
issue out, and I'm not really sold on the art style on that one. It's
our
not
style's up.
terrible. There's just something about it that just doesn't appeal to me.
Mm,
But that's just a me thing. I mean, the story's going all right. Like I said, it's one issue. I
mm,
can't really make a vote too much on that.
mm. It's just you've got alarm bells going off and you needed to vent it.
Yeah, and the other one is they're bringing back the Ultimate X-Men. Now I know you're not a fan of the X-Men. That's fair. But
Hmm.
this one, the art style is just really unappealing with the X-Men one.
What, did they hire Liefeld again?
I don't know. I don't think they did, but I'm just saying, like the art. I'll show you a picture of the art style later because that was just I just couldn't get into it because of the art style. And the story is
Hmm.
just like I forget her name, but it's that girl that can summon the armor, like the energy armor around her. But I forget her name.
I don't know the X-Men well enough to
Yeah.
tell you who you're talking about.
No, I'm just saying,
You're
like, if
asking,
anybody's out
you
there who
are
knows it, they put in the comments. That's fine. But I'm only like a certain X Men I'm really favorite to like Colossus and the whatnot. So, but and it starts with her, and there's really no explanation of what's going on with anything besides she's being haunted by an evil spirit. And I'm just sitting there, like,
okay.
how is this connecting the X Men again?
Well, the X-Men are connected to a lot of weird things that make no kind of sense.
I know. I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't feel like an X Men beginning. Is all it really is.
Mm.
But uh, for something that seems to be going so right in so many directions, because it starts off with Peter talking to Uncle Ben, and he's concerned about his wife going dead, and worried about how he's feeling. And one of the things is that Uncle Ben, in his grief and wisdom, because he doesn't berate Peter, but he turns to Peter and says, "We took you when you were 15 and raised you as your son. Do you still miss your parents?" And he, of course, does. Peter still does miss his parents because he's human.
Yeah.
And Ben says, "Dad, yes, you do know how I feel." And it's a fair moment, and it's not like, oh, they're spilling their guts, but at the same time, you
That's
feel that emotion between them.
a pretty normal conversation with grief. And
Yeah. So there's
yeah.
strong writing here at moments.
But here's the thing. Do you think this is the writer's fault or once more Marvel's studio mandates?
It's hard to
Because
say because it feels like it's
because
going back and forth a little bit.
Spider-Man is a character who has been destroyed by higher ups so many times. Like Spider-Man has had some of the best comic book writers on him, and some of the best comic book writers have had to make some of the worst stories.
Mm-hmm.
One More Day was written by a lot of people's favorite Spider-Man writer, but he was basically just told by the editor in chief at the time, "Make me this story."
Yeah. So it's hard to
So
say right now because the writing seems to be strong, but there's hints of that are sending off the spider sense of cringe going off at this point.
your cringe sense.
Yes.
I think
And
most people have developed the cringe sense in the last few years, and it just, yeah.
so,
Be,
like I said, it's hopeful, but when you see the signs,
you just want this out here, so when it falls apart, you can just point to this like, "I told you so. The prophecy came true."
a little bit, just a little bit. Can you blame me?
I mean, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. But I mean,
I mean,
it means you're not
I want to be
at least.
proven wrong, though. That I will be for my heartfelt sincerity. I want to be proven wrong. I want this because the writing at the start is going off so well.
I wish I could be proven wrong about the next story we're gonna cover.
Yeah, but this is a prime example of the other one that I can't put into words, but I hope I'm proven wrong.
Mm.
So
All right,
I got to warn
let's
you
just
now.
rip.
You might want to cover your ears because this is probably gonna make M really yell at people. The Suicide Squad.
I okay. The idea of playing as a group of bad guys has never been a bad idea, in my opinion. But there is just so much Warner Brothers did wrong with this. This game basically almost destroyed one of my favorite developers, Rocksteady, the guys behind the amazing Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knights, and helped Warner Brothers Montreal make the damn good Arkham Origins. These are 4 games where you play as Batman, and the next game in the series, you play as 2 of his rogue and 2 other dudes. And it's the same universe, but it feels nothing like the Arkham verse. Not because the gameplay is different. The gameplay looks all right for a looter shooter. I got no problem with the gameplay. It's not my
Okay,
cup of
let's
tea.
just be honest. If you had these four, this is not going to be a stealth game either, because there's no way.
Yes, yes, way.
I bet with King Shark.
Yeah, if you could have easily just had Deadshot be stealth.
I'm just
I
no.
don't.
I just mean like
Okay, okay. That brings up a point I never thought of. What the fuck is Deadshot being so goddamn loud and obnoxious? He's an assassin.
fair point.
Like Harley, King Shark. They're about as subtle as a goddamn whale entering your house. Captain Boomerang. I know very little about Captain Boomerang besides his immense respect for the Flash and his pretty good ingenuity and his quirk about liking
Look,
boomerangs.
all I know about Captain Boomerang is from the Justice League show, so that's about as far as I got on that one.
Yeah, I think I saw him once in the Flash TV show, but I try and forget that entire CW show. It was very bad,
I mean,
mostly in terms of inconsistent writing. Speaking of
yeah.
inconsistent writing, oh my God, Harley Quinn's inconsistent writing.
Let's pump the
Okay,
brakes a little bit, Em. Let's stop for a second. Take a breather.
sorry.
Take a deep breath. Pump the brakes just a little bit because we're gonna have to start from the beginning on this one. So as we stated, this is in the same universe as Arkham series. The first
Hmm.
problem here is, as far as we know, Batman is no longer being Batman.
Yeah, his identity is publicly known, and they even tell you that in certain cutscenes in this game. And all the lines, except for a handful, which are just terribly written, are done by Kevin Conroy, and he does his usual, "Oh shit, this is Batman. This is great." They also at one point make fun of the line "I am the Knight" and make him say it a lot as if it's Batman's a pull toy, and you just pull the cord, and he'll just say, "I am the Knight. I am the Knight. I am the." He
Yeah,
only said that once in the iconic cartoon.
yeah. That was
As
kind of the
and that
warning.
wasn't and that wasn't at the bad guys. That was to himself as a mantra to psych himself up.
Yeah, you see, that was the first warning bell when they kind of promoted that this was Kevin Conroy's last scene as
Yeah,
Batman. That was
and it
kind of a
even isn't.
warning bell because I just didn't like.
Yeah, the marketing at times it wasn't along the lines of, and we sadly announced that this is the final time Kevin Conroy will be reprising Batman after his recorded before his tragic death, and leave it at that. No, I kept hearing people going online. I was like, "This is Kevin Conroy's final performance. His final performance. His swan song as Batman."
Yeah, they kind of like. I know they were.
I know a lot of people who bought this game because of how much they respect Kevin Conroy as Batman, how important his portrayal of Batman was in terms of the acting, the elevation, and just the representation of a wonderful gay man getting work and being beloved for that work. And how much he turned his own tragic history and put that into Batman.
Wait, Kevin
Like,
Conroy's gay?
he was gay.
See, that's the thing. It's like, uh,
I side note, I DC did a comic about becoming the Knight, which is a autobiograph of Kevin Conroy becoming Batman, and it talks about how he used his shame and hiding who he was as a gay man in Hollywood to help him create the dynamic between Bruce Wayne and Batman.
see, this is one of the things where it's like, it's your personal life, dude, and you're more than welcome to it.
Yeah,
And I, knowing that, I'm kind of glad because there's been way too many people saying like, "Oh, a gay man has to play a gay character." I'm like, dude, it's acting. That's a part of acting, is to be someone else.
yeah. And like I said, he took his own personal trauma and his own personal life and made the dynamic between Bruce Wayne and Batman better.
Yeah, and I
That,
got no,
that's why
like I said, I got no problem with Kevin Conroy being gay. It's one of those instances where I just don't care.
Yeah,
Like,
he was in the closet for a very, very long time, and it's actually thanks to being Batman he could come out of the closet.
and like I said, it's the point where like I don't care. It's like, dude, you're just being an awesome actor and an awesome person. That's all I care about.
I mean,
If you
yeah,
like,
everyone's favorite story about Kevin Conroy is during 9/11 he decided to work at a soup kitchen.
huh, good for him.
Yeah, and people are like, "Well, what do you do for work?" I do voices." You sound familiar. What are you doing? I played Batman. Dude, Batman's making our soup. So he came out with soup and did the dramatic "I am the Nightline," which is he did at conventions. It was a
All he
line
has to do is
Kevin
sing
did.
superstitious line. I would have laughed.
I love that. But yeah, the "I am the Night" is not a thing Batman was known for. It's a thing Kevin Conroy was known for because it was a big dramatic line. He could do at conventions to make everyone cheer. And then taking something that a beloved actor did to make people happy and making it a fucking punchline tells you all you need to know, and yet they keep shitting on Batman. This is not just any Batman, not just any Batman voiced by Kevin Conroy. He's the Batman you played as. You
Hmm.
played as this Batman for 4 games, maybe 10 if you count some spin-offs.
Yeah, there were a lot of spinoffs.
There were that
Some good and
I
some like, let's pretend they don't exist.
yeah, a lot of the mobile ones I believe were like that. I never played on the mobile ones because I didn't have
But
a phone that could operate.
okay,
Anyway,
pump the brakes. Let's get back on track. This was not a
okay.
bad idea at the start. Play as the
I
Suicide Squad.
fighting an evil Justice League. That could be
Okay,
interesting, you know.
and here's the thing. I like the idea
Killing the
that.
Justice League. Not big on it, but it makes some sense
Well,
if
here's the.
they've truly turned evil. The plot of this game is Brainiac. If you don't know who Brainiac is, he's a giant data collecting robot from Krypton, comes to Earth in a giant skull ship, and then sends this Justice League a message of peace. Wish to speak to you in peace and solidarity. And Batman, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman all look at the skull ship going, hey, no way, that's a peaceful ship. And then Superman goes, well, he may not just know because he's a space alien. And you all took me and one welcomed me, so we should do the same to this space alien.
You know what
So
that makes me think of?
they all go up to the spaceship and then get mind controlled by Brainiac.
You know what that makes me think of him?
Mm.
We're wearing skulls. Are we the bad guys?
Yes, everyone's made that joke. Everyone's made that joke. And I'm not saying the ship is slightly a skull ship. No, I mean it's like the size of several buildings. It's towering over
Okay,
Metropolis as
first
a
of all, on that
giant
point, there's
skull.
two problems. Number one, Batman still wouldn't be dumb enough to go for it.
No, he would have stayed behind.
Number two, I don't.
Superman's not this dumb.
No, even beyond that, I don't see Brainiac being this dumb.
Like,
Just you could
I
have
mean,
just left the skull shaped ship in space and brought something a little bit more user friendly.
yeah, yeah. If they did that, or even cloaked it so as soon as the Justice League turn in, it turns into a skull as a fuck you guys, I actually would have found that funny. That's how you do comedy,
I
in my
mean,
opinion. Anyway,
Superman
but
trying to get an
I don't
alien.
dislike Superman. That's
Superman,
Superman.
yeah,
That's his nature. He believes the best in everyone, and I
yes,
don't want that taken away from him.
no.
But even he would look at a giant skull and go,
I should have my guard up.
"Ooh, maybe we'll just send a Superman duplicate robot up there instead."
No, I could see
That's
Superman
why I
still
built.
going, but keeping his guard up. Like I will give you the chance, but
Mm.
I'm not going to drop my guard, and that's fair.
Or or you know what Superman also would have suggested? We will meet. Why don't we meet in this neutral location? Let's meet on the moon.
Yeah, there you go.
No. Let's go up in the clearly ominous skull ship. Like
I mean,
I am not the biggest Superman fan, but I will defend that Superman is not an idiot. I will defend that the Flash is not an idiot, even though they keep writing the Flash as an idiot in a lot of things.
yeah.
Wonder Woman. Certainly not an idiot. She's a battle-hardened woman. She would look up, seeing a skull ship, going, "Yeah, that's a ship saying I'm a giant trophy collector."
And here's the thing: it's a human skull too.
At least very humanoid shape.
Yeah, like I mean, it's not
Which
like.
it's probably a Kryptonian skull, which
Well, I'm just saying, like it's a shape of what most people on Earth would see as a human skull. Like it's not like an
if,
alien skull. It's like, oh, this is like to represent our people or something like that. No, it's a freaking, as anybody on
if,
Earth would
if,
see it, a human skull.
if it came down as a xenomorph-shaped skull, it is still a humanoid sort of face in the front.
Yeah. So I'm saying it's like
So,
there's that too, but
so The Justice League, containing Batman, Superman, Flash, Green Lantern, John Stewart, Green Lantern, and Wonder Woman, all go up. So this Justice League is just five dudes, well, four dudes and a lady,
Hmm.
go up, and three of them get brainwashed. The Flash able to quickly save himself and Wonder Woman just in the nick of time. And between the powers of Batman, Superman, and Green Lantern, they take over Metropolis for Brainiac.
That sounds about right.
So Amanda Waller, the American head of, I forget what group she's in
All right.
charge of this time.
Pause for a second. I'm just saying, so far, besides for a few little nitpicks that are large, I will admit, this isn't
Mhm.
sounding too bad.
No.
And what I
So,
appreciate here is that it's not like the crime syndicate or something like that. It's not an evil universe, the evil version of the heroes, because I kind of felt like that would be a little too
you could
overplayed
have
for
done
this.
something with. Anyway, so Amanda Waller teams up with Wonder Woman, I think the Flash for a bit, because I could not be bothered by this, and immediately goes to the Suicide Squad after everything fails, because we do not see any other DC superheroes.
No.
In the Arkhamverse, we already know Green Arrow is a thing. Now, I don't think Green Arrow can take down Superman, Batman, or Green Lantern, but I don't think he wouldn't try.
Here's my other thing. For everything that's going on, where the hell's the Red Hood?
Oh, you see his street tag in a few places.
Oh, thanks,
But
Jason.
but the prevailing theory is Batman also killed him. The prevailing theory is because we don't see any of the Bat family, we only see the discarded mask of Tim Drake's Robin. We believe Nightwing, Oracle, and Red Hood were all killed by Batman.
Christ, I'm having the He Last flashbacks.
Yeah. At one point, the titular Suicide Squad enter in a Bat cave and get a pre-recorded message from Batman saying, "I've turned evil. Jason, Tim Drake, please, you must team up with Jason Todd and Nightwing in order to stop me." And they look down and see a bloody Robin mask. Like Batman even says, I hope you can find Jason Todd and reunite with him," sounding like we're not on good terms, but this is so important. You need to get Jason involved too because the Red
Yeah,
Hood
we'll
is
talk about that in another episode we're going to do with a friend, but that's not
yeah.
here right now.
Regardless, Batman has his contingency plans, and they don't work because this Batman's smarter than his contingency plan. Look, there's so many problems with this game, and not just how badly it's on fire. Like the game itself is poorly put together. When the game came out, there was a bug that made you complete the 100% the game when you turned it on.
Yeah, I heard about that.
There's a bug that prevents you from joining lobbies. There's a bug that prevents you from leaving lobbies.
There's a bug that's a bug, apparently.
Yeah.
But, I
From what I
mean,
understand, nobody in Rocksteady really wanted to make this game. Several of the creative team members from the Arkham games quit over this game. This was all WB Gaming's idea. This is the same company that just now said, "We have failed at live service games, so we're going to focus on live service games."
well, here's the thing. At the first start, when this was first being told as an idea,
I was in for it.
yeah, so was I. I mean, the characters looked like they should play differently.
I was not into any of the four selectable choices. I probably would have played as Captain Boomerang because he's the one I like the most out of these four.
Well, no, I'm just saying,
Th-
like, if you,
okay, before we get anything else, don't get me wrong. I don't hate Harley Quinn. I like Harley Quinn when she's independent of Joker. It's just this is Arkham Harley. I didn't care for Arkham Harley.
well, like I say, if you look at that, you see that each of them is probably going to play a little bit different. Two close would probably be Harley and Boomerang, because clearly Deadshot's with the sniper rifle, so clearly he's a gun person. He's going to be snipe shooting.
Yeah. I when I first heard this game, I thought it would be kind of along the lines of you make a squad and you fill certain roles, and the sniper guy could defend you guys while the other ones sneak up and do the mission or
King Shark's
no,
a tank and just stands there, take damage and strike
no,
back.
everyone runs up head first and starts shooting things close range.
hmm I mean, I didn't
Which
mind they gave King
if
in the
that's your
one.
game, sure, but you have access to all of the DC universe at this point.
Mm,
There are so many unique characters you could have gone with, so many different unique styles of gameplay. There are a lot of characters who've never been shown to ever use a gun. I don't think Captain Boomerang has ever used a gun. I'm pretty sure he exclusively throws boomerangs.
I mean, it's not like you could just have them throw boomerangs quickly and have them target multiple enemies to replace firing rapidly or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. And not against Harley Quinn using guns. It makes sense for Harley, but she's mostly known for using her hammer. Oh, and her Spider-Man styled web swinging.
And I'm not opposed to King Shark
Wait,
having a
what?
large minigun for range that just like it's weak, but it's a little bit of range for him. I wasn't opposed to that.
No,
It's
I
like,
mostly just pictured him picking up cars and chucking those instead, or like
yeah.
ripping pieces off the wall and the ground, and like that was his
Or if
ranged
we're fighting
option. Is
robots, taking chunks out of the robots with it, biting them and smashing and shit like
yeah,
that. I mean, the two giant meat cleavers look awesome for him.
yeah, yeah. But getting back to the story, as I said, this is Arkham Harley, who the last time you see Arkham Harley in the Arkham Knight game, she is clinging to an old man who has Joker's personality because she's so desperate for a Mr. J back. And then we get to this game, and she says she's been independent of Joker for years, never needed him. When did this character development happen? I'm not against this character development. I just want to know when the fuck it happened.
Look, I don't hate Harley. M can testify to this. I don't hate her character.
She's used great in a lot of things.
Right. My problem with her is whenever she comes up nowadays, that's all she is she's just separate from the Joker and she goes
Yeah,
on and on about it.
she's become. She went from being one note Mr. J is my life to one note Mr. J is my anti-life. Okay,
Mhm.
what other things do you do?
And everything with her is written around her rather than it feeling any sort of natural with her a lot of times.
They're trying to make her into the lol random Deadpool of the DC universe. She could fill that role, but Deadpool is more than lol. I'm the fourth wall guy. Deadpool has his deep character moments. He has his regrets. He has his character growth. He's been married several times. It's been important to him. He's helped raise kids. It's been important to him. He has some sort of weird bromance with Spider-Man going on, which, depending on the writer, is either more than a romance.
Yeah, I'm not
And
going to question that one.
that's the thing about Deadpool. He's multi-layered. Deadpool is the comic book pansexual icon.
And here's the
Deadpool
thing
loves the Deadpool.
I don't mind her general personality at any point during the Arkham series because she was doing her role as Miss the Joker's side girl.
Yeah, she was Joker's lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
She was Joker's get this done for me, Harley. Like he would literally threaten his minions, but if you don't do this shit, I'm sending Harley down there. He actually, while insulted towards Harley, also clearly in the Arkhamverse needed Harley
Because
and
in
knew he needed
Arkham
Harley.
Origins, my favorite scene was when Joker's talking about his relationship with Batman from his perspective, mind you, because I don't really buy that Joker and Batman are two sides of the same coin bullshit.
No, I don't
But
either.
but you can see if one person could see it that way, and especially
Yeah,
the
I can see.
Joker the way he is.
Yeah,
And to her, Joker's talking about her.
yeah, because she had her issues too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, her entire plot in Arkham City is she thinks she's pregnant with Joker's kid, and it means the world to her.
Christ, I forgot about
Despite
that.
despite the fact that Joker probably shoots blanks, but got false positives, and it made her life so happy. And then Joker dies at his own hands, and she blames Batman for that. And there's an entire DLC where she's wearing mourning gear and trying to kill Batman for killing Joker. And
And
it's actually pretty good. It shows you the depths of her insanity and how, honestly, she's a little bit more threatening at times than Joker, but
you
she's
know what the
also about
important
as
thing is?
not great in a fight.
The important thing is it's story consistency.
hmm Like I said, if the game had put more work into showing off how Harley went from clinging to a Joker clone in a sense to independent, I would have been cool with that. But she keeps bringing up to that she's independent of Joker.
You know what that reminds me of a scene, not the Independence, but it's with King
Mm.
Shark saying that he has father issues, and all the rest of them just agree. It's like, so you want to elaborate on those issues, or are we just going to continue on being dumbasses? All
Yeah.
right, continue on
There's
this.
also there's also the problem with Floyd Lawton, the Deadshot. Deadshot was seen twice in the Arkham games, Arkham Origins and Arkham City. He was also going to appear in Arkham Knight, but they cut his content. And he's an opponent of Batman. He's a damn good assassin, and he's a white guy. But because the biggest version of Floyd Lawton is now a black guy, they did parallel universe shenanigans to have Floyd replace Floyd, or they say he's exactly me, down to the DNA, down to the fingerprints, down to the trigger figure, that this white guy was me.
I thought they
So
just said he
which
was a fake.
nope, he is a parallel universe Deadshot. They do not tell you who crossed over into whose universe. They do not have existential dread with this. They just have current Floyd saying he's almost as good as me. He might be as good as me, but I still killed him and took my life back.
See, I thought they said the white one was the fake. And like,
Nope.
oh.
Nope.
Well, then again,
Floyd brings up Floyd talks to Lex Luthor, who I believe is a parallel universe Lex Luthor, about how I'm pretty sure this is me from a parallel universe. And they don't bring up like here's that's lazy parallel universe writing just so you can retcon to have a guy replaced by the more popular version. I'm not upset that the more popular Floyd Lawton took over. I actually kind of like the design of this Floyd a lot more than the Arkham City and Arkham Origin one, who looked really stupid in my opinion. This one, I actually like his helmet. It's a cool helmet.
eh,
He's got a jetpack. I like jetpacks. But my problem is that's it. That is all they bring up about how this Floyd may not be in the same universe he was born in, or that Floyd took his place when he retired to take care of his daughter. That alone is actually a good plot for like an entire show where I'm like, what universe am I in?
and what do you
When did
do
this
about your
happen?
kid?
Yeah. Did this Floyd have a kid? Did I just kill my daughter's dad in a sense? Like what this is terrifying. No, story
I mean,
done.
we get it. He's a bad guy, mercenary killer. We're not exactly saying he has to, like, have a
But they,
bleeding heart for everything. But Jesus,
but they keep pointing out that he has got a huge love of his daughter. His daughter is his entire world, which okay, I can respect that. But there's more to that than just my daughter's my world. Like, what if you find out that this is your daughter, but the parallel universe version of your daughter?
yeah, there's just too many questions and not enough answers on that one.
No, because they just wanted a quick, easy retcon to replace Floyd with better Floyd, which I understand the temptation. I really do.
Okay,
Because
so we're going
and
to.
then we get to the two things that makes this the worst in my opinion.
Okay, before I go over to the image, let's talk about the Flash and Boomerang.
That's the first one. At one point in the game, Flash gets brain controlled and becomes your first boss, and look, fighting the Flash does not look fun. Because he's either zipping around or he stands in place to charge an attack, which what? What? So they do kill the Flash, and Captain Boomerang, longtime rogue rival of the Flash, takes a piss on his corpse.
Classy.
Every story I know about Captain Boomerang and the Flash is the Flash and Captain Boomerang have mutual respect for one another. They actually worry about the other person's health. Captain Boomerang is often breaking the law and fight the Flash for the fun of it. It's essentially his, you know, let's go and play darts with the mates.
I mean, that's anything I know about the Flash and his rogue gallery. They do have a sort of respect for each other.
Yeah, no one in Flash's rogues gallery want Flash dead. They want to beat him.
I mean, that's
Now I understand this is a different reality, but this is the Flash. He's one of DC's most beloved superheroes. He's not the biggest household name, but that's your first boss you beat. That's the first Justice League member you killed. There's no somberness to this. Like, yes, we are playing as four bad guys, but they're working for good guys. Well, good as you can be as you when you put bombs in someone's head.
yeah. And I
The Flash is a well-beloved hero in this universe, and the respect he gets is being pissed on.
I mean,
By,
to be fair,
by,
this Boomerang feels like a homeless Australian they pulled off the street.
yeah, he does not seem like the clever guy who creates unique boomerangs and just has fun robbing banks.
I mean, he does have some knowledge that most people would not have,
Yep.
but his manner just feels like, hey, this guy's Australian. Let's take him.
And that seems to be his only character trait at times is to be Australian and not even good Australian. Like sometimes I've seen some clips where it sounds like this is a guy who's never met an Australian but has seen Australians once in Crocodile Dundee.
Hmm.
Now, I haven't watched every cutscene because honestly, I want to bash my head at any time one of these cutscenes come up with my suggestions. But
Yeah.
then we get to the Batman fight.
Okay, before I switch over, just prepare yourself because this will probably make Eb's head explode again.
Please don't say head explode.
Sorry.
So, after a long boss fight and then second boss fight, which involves fear toxin, which I will not get
Wait, this
into
was the
the
second
bullshit.
boss fight?
Yeah, he's a two-stage boss fight where you fight him first, where he's doing dramatic long
No, no, I
kicks,
mean
and
like
you
this
can.
was after the Flash.
This was after Flash. This is like the second to last boss.
Wow, they
Yeah.
really. Wow.
Okay, the first fight of Batman is he's up on the gargoyles, and then he'll do a dramatic kick, and you can see him coming from a mile away, very slowly coming to kick you, so everyone has to shoot him to stop him. Which has anyone here played the Arkham games? Yes, the drop kick from a gargoyle is an attack Batman has. It is not his signature move in that game. His signature move in that game is to come up behind you and go, shh, shh, shh. Go to sleep, little goon. Go to sleep, little goon. Next.
I mean, granted, the stealth sometimes was not the best in the Arkham series, but it was just a game. So,
Yep.
I,
So how do you translate a stealth character to a boss fight? Dramatic kicks. He's not a goddamn common writer. And then I can't picture like bullet stuff slowing him down from a kick.
I mean, this is where you could
Anyway,
have gotten a chance
anyway,
to use the differences between the characters. Like King Shark was supposed to get in front and deflect the kick or something. Because I could see King Shark
I,
deflect
I
a Batman
I could
kick.
believe that. Yeah, I could see Batman having a way to stop that, but if you keep switching up the team members and getting in the way, throwing off his groove,
Like the first
the
response would be
second
King Shark gets in the way. Then uh, Deadshot has to snipe him the next time because he wouldn't expect the shot because he's
then
busy
when he
focused on
starts
King Shark.
then when he starts using his gadgets such as batarangs, Captain Boomerang has to counter them with his own boomerangs or gadgets. And Harley,
Harley just knows most of his gadgets that he would have on him at that time, besides
yeah,
countermeasures he would make on the fly.
but when it comes to Harley versus Batman in the Arkham games, she gets knocked out with 6 times by Batman, and the few times you control Batman to knock her out, you push the counter button once, fight over. She's got the worst track record out of every Arkham character fighting. Goons do better than Harley does against Batman in the Arkham games.
Yeah, that's kind of sad.
It's kind of sad, yeah. And she's been locked up for years, so she's clearly been, at the top of her game.
Well, the Straight Jacket does wonders for a lumberback.
Anyway, after you fight the first phase, he fear toxins the room and becomes a giant fear Batman that you have to shoot the head while he shoots lasers at his eyes and swings at you. And look, I'm okay with that part. Like, everyone's tripping on fear toxin. They have no idea what the fuck they're seeing. Problem is, apparently Harley has figured out a way to counter Batman's fear toxin with her own fear toxin. The
She
Batman
was not that kind of doctor.
I understand the Joker has taught her chemicals, yes, but this Batman has already overcome so much fear toxin, and I'm willing to bet he also has gassed himself out of a training method too. Like, better make sure I'm resistant to this stuff still.
Well, you mentioned that
Oh
he
no,
over.
it's a different strain. It's a different strain. It's Batman from the Arkham games who has willed his resistance through this, but he's mind controlled. Yeah, that just tells me that Brainiac made an inferior Batman. Because there's a plot line that this might be a Batman clone, which was genetically enhanced by Brainiac, which makes even less sense.
Which also leads to the question where the real Batman is, because I know he's not dead.
Yep, yep. But yeah, after this big long boss fight, Batman's knocked unconscious. Harley picks him up and tries to walk off with him because he's my bad guy. I'm his bad guy. I got him, and they bring him back to Amanda Waller and they run some tests and they're like, I don't think we have a cure for him. So the Suicide Squad sneak him out to a park, sit him down. Batman has an atrocious speech at Harley. Harley takes out a gun, shoots him in the head, and kills him. Now, if Harley had still been pissed off about him killing the Joker, this execution would have made sense.
Well, I kind of see
But
this
she's
two ways.
independent.
the one is that you said is she's still pissed off about the Joker being killed. Okay, that's one way the scene could have gone. The other one, this is they said they couldn't find a way to help Batman not be mind controlled, and
Here's the thing, though. They didn't even have enough time to undress him. That tells me they had no immediately at this exact nanosecond.
yeah, no, I'm just saying like ignoring that plot hole for the moment.
Yeah,
This is not a threat you want to leave sitting around
I agree.
because it's the goddamn Batman. I would if I had the chance and I have to, and we're at the current moment where there's no cure and we're sitting on top of this ticking time bomb.
Yes.
Now,
This but here's something wrong with that too. Amanda Waller's the one in charge. She's
mm,
nobody's fool. She would have killed Batman herself.
yeah. Well, given some ways that she's been written, let's not push our luck on that.
Yes, but I'm just saying, on average,
Yeah.
she's supposed to be smarter than the Suicide Squad.
Now, if she told the Suicide Squad to kill him while she's somewhere in a safe room, I understood that reaction.
No, but they just basically sneak him out to have a speech with him and shoot him.
Yeah. And like M said, this all just to go on the record. Oh, she's independent of the Joker. When?
Oh, and to add even more stupid to this cutscene, can you guess what happens immediately after Batman's killed?
Harley pees on him?
No. Superman shows up and say, I am the last one you must face, Suicide Squad. I will stop you. And then flies away.
Yeah, that sound of silence is all the people that thought this was a great writing.
Oh, and one tiny bit of addition to prove that Brainiac has upgraded his Justice League. This Superman's resistant to kryptonite. So they can't even use the excuse of he's close to the base where the base is full of kryptonite.
Christ, Green Lantern did get the best ending out of all these guys.
He did. He really did. And I still fucking hate that ending.
I mean,
Wonder Woman also dies in this game, and she dies as the only hero who stays a hero, and her death is also not dignified.
I mean, I'm sorry. I just still like King Shark taking the ring and summoning a giant energy shark to break open into the Brainiac ship. But what came next was kind of a dick move by Waller that kind of proves how she is.
I'm just going to take a small note and thank the YouTube channel Game Clips for clipping this for me, so I didn't have to play this game, and they did it. I feel very sorry for them. Thank you for your hard work. Maybe check out their YouTube page if you want to watch game clips.
Yeah.
By game clips. But yeah, this game is so bad. It's bleeding money for Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is taking all the wrong lessons from this game. A couple of years ago, or last year, I forget which, they released the best-selling game, Hogwarts, a single-player game that even people I know who hate Harry Potter said this is a really well-made game. It's a lot of fun. It's got good world building. It's got good story. It's got good gameplay. Yada yada yada. It deserved its game of the
Get that out
best-selling title. It deserved its thank you. It deserved being best-selling game, and it has made them a buttload of money. And Warner Brothers decided to stop making single-player games to focus on live service games.
Well, you see, the thing they did with Harry Potter was they focused on developing the world and what it means to be a wizard in the world of Harry Potter. And as an
Hmm.
added note, they stepped away from the Harry Potter himself and went into the past where they could kind of invent their own world in a sense.
Yeah, none of that sound hard to think of,
And
but
before you
too.
bring up anything about the controversy with J.K. Rawlings,
Yeah, we freaking hate her.
yeah, I don't.
I hate her getting money. Okay, we're just gonna say this. This is a trans-friendly channel,
Mhm.
so if you're a turf, yeah, no, you're not gonna enjoy us.
But what I'm saying is that there are other things that went into this game besides just her.
Yeah, she barely had any input in the game apparently.
She had almost no input. The only thing they really used was her world, and she had to get royalties from it because they used the Harry Potter world.
Mm.
The Harry Potter world itself is
It's actually surprisingly inclusive. I don't understand how she became a turf. Is all I'm saying.
yeah, that's kind of the weird thing about it. I mean, they
I
literally
some
opened up a world of magic where you could be almost anything you wanted to be. I mean, one person in the show was like changing their haircut like every 5 minutes when that show booked.
there's a potion that can make you look like anybody. So yeah, there's definitely some sort of trans witch or wizard out there who's using that daily to look like someone else so they can be in the right body.
I mean, I understand the issues of identity theft with that going on, but
I also understand the terror of waking up every morning and hating your own reflection. Not to the level of this body dysmorphia, but
yeah,
I'm not a
I'm
very
just
handsome
saying
person.
it's just really kind of conflicting on how someone like that wrote something like this.
Yes. Anyway, going back to Warner Brothers, they're obsessed right now with the idea of if a live service game is good, like it does really well, it will make more money than a single player game.
Hmm.
The thing they don't understand is it's going to take dozens of live service games to get to that one that makes more than a live service game, a single player game, where you could make 4 or 5 smaller live single player games and make more money together than one huge live service game. But because that live service game will make 5 million, where these uh, single player games might only make 2 million each. Well, obviously you want the one that makes 5 million rather than the four that make 2 million, right?
Hmm. See, this
That's
also.
how that's how business works, right?
Well, you see, here's the other thing that I think is going to be a pitfall for some game developers, and another team developer is going to fall into this. Apparently, for what they're saying,
Mm,
Team Ninja announced that they're going to be making one game a year.
please stop doing that.
Yeah, that's how Call of Duty fell into the pit that it is currently in.
See, right now there are two game companies that have done the right thing. The developers of the Helldivers 2 have announced, despite the fact their game being one of the best-selling games of this year, yeah, we're not hiring on additional staff. I mean, yes, this game did well, but what if our next game doesn't do as well? Then we'll have to lay off all these people we just hired. We're just going to focus on the team we have right now and then just go with what we got.
I will
And
say this one:
Capcom,
Helldivers 2 is an amazing game. I recommend anybody play
and
it.
and then Capcom did really well fiscally last year thanks to Resident Evil and
Street Fighter
Street
6.
Fighter and Monster Hunter, and said we're not hiring more, but we're giving our staff a 20% increase.
Yeah, because their announcement for Monster Hunter Wilds, Monster Hunter World has seen a surge in popularity currently.
hmm So these two companies have looked around, seeing the games industry falling apart because let's release quadruple A games that are bombing like hell, and let's hire more staff this year and then lay them off next year.
See, what I'm
And
hoping is Rise of the Ronin corrects them on the course because Rise of the Ronin has been in the works for the last 7 years.
who is making this game? I don't know who's making this game.
Team Ninja.
Okay.
It has been in the works for the last 7 years. That's why a lot of people were concerned when Team Ninja said they were making one game a year. They thought Rise of the Ronin was going to fall into this category. No.
Mm,
The major problem is that, and I hate people say this, oh, the graphics look last gen. Yeah, this game's been in development for 7 years because they wanted to get it right.
it's going to sell well because I have not played Helldivers 2, but I've looked at Helldivers 2 and go, this does not look as great as modern graphics, but
Well,
it looks fun.
Helldivers 2 is amazing fun. And I know I wouldn't suggest it for you right away, M, because giant bugs.
Yeah, I know it's a game that's basically what if we took Star Trek Troopers and made it a game?
But here's the thing: we can go fight the robots that are coming to invade instead, because they're on the other side
Yes,
of the universe.
I look forward to that. Speaking of which, do you know people don't realize Helldivers 2 is a satire just like they didn't realize Star Troopers satire?
Oh my god, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, that makes me very sad about people. Media literacy should be taught in school.
I mean, Christ, I picked up the first thing like Super Earth, patriotism, and like Jesus
Like literally,
Christ.
it's literally just the guys who wrote the movie
If
Starship Troopers.
if they smacked you any harder, I don't know what they would have to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's satire. It's funny as hell. It's like,
Super Earth just cracked me up. Just hearing Super Earth.
I mean, like I said, it's a fun game, and it's like they're currently like normally you'd have to rank up to like rank 25 in order to use the exosuits. They just
Mm,
gave it to you for free for a little while now. You can still use the exosuit for free at rank 1.
noise, noise. So
I don't know
yeah,
how they
that's
haven't got a lawsuit yet because one of the enemies looks like an AT-AT.
mm. So yeah, that's the news that's been bugging us.
Yeah. So,
We will also take a moment to pay tribute to the late great Akira Toriyama.
hmm
May he rest well, and thank you for. Oh, let's see. Well, not just Dragon Ball,
Chrono
although the two of us
Trigger.
are. Doctor Slump. Oh, have you actually ever read some Doctor Slump? It's actually legitimately really
You
funny.
know what's really terrible? There's two things I find. Well, I think kind of put it oddly, but
Hmm.
Sandland the video game is coming out this year,
Yeah, I look forward to that. I'm grabbing that.
which is his. I think his
Penultimate work.
original work. I think
Yeah, he released Sandland a couple years ago, I think, and it was
I can't
very
remember if it
good.
was before Doctor Slump or if Doctor Slump was first, but I know it was one of his early works because I remember reading
There's something,
the
yeah,
manga on it.
he did another release of that not too long ago too, like
Yeah,
a
that was
movie.
re-released, but the original
Yeah,
was one of his first
yeah,
creations.
yeah. Also, we have to thank him for Dragon Quest.
Mm.
People are saying the slime is the ultimate mascot ever created by any human being. I'm like, I want to argue against that, but I really can't.
And apparently, Dragon Ball Daitama
Yes, the upcoming
is
news series.
might not
When
because of this.
he scripted a lot of it, but I don't think he was finished scripting it too. It
Yeah,
was something he
so
was
there's
working on.
that's up in the air, and
His protege might continue. The protege who's been in charge of the super manga, who no one's heard. I haven't heard from him for a little while, and I'm wondering how the hell he's holding up because he literally was a Akira Toriyama's protege. He must be broken up
yeah,
because um the internet is broken up. We
I
all miss his work greatly.
I will
Even
say
the
this
stuff.
one. I apologize for mispronouncing his name, but
Mm,
Taita Kubo, the creator of Bleach,
yeah.
wrote a beautiful little thing about Toriyama.
Mm. Reading it sounds like he's a little bit in shock to me, which is understandable. He that was also a mentor of his.
Mm,
Every one of the big three creators, One Piece's creator and Naruto's creators, have been in mourning. Um, I saw beautiful art by the creator of Tales from Sonic, drawing Sonic as Piccolo and Tails as little Gohan, and
yeah, that was adorable.
he, they've admitted that Sonic the Hedgehog is so influenced by Akira Toriyama's work. I mean, everyone's works in Japan for the longest time,
Hmm And he
and
was one of the big three creators
no,
for that generation.
he was the big one. Like the only one bigger than him was Shotaro Ishimori, who passed away a few years ago, and I'm willing to bet even then Ishinomori's work is not as well known worldwide as Akira Toriyama's. The three under him, the Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece, he did help create. Like he did when they became part of Shonen Jump, he did mentor them all a bit. Like he
Hmm
had words of wisdom for them, and he apparently was still doing words of wisdom to even ones like Horikoshi, the creator of My Hero and whatnot.
Mm.
Like he was always willing, from what I understand, to take a moment and talk to up and coming mangaka,
Yeah.
and he just seemed like such a friendly man. He was very private about his stuff, which fair.
Well, it seems to me like the ones that are the most creative, kind of. I'm not trying to sound soap, but have their own quirks about it.
Mm,
Because look at the creator of Berserk. That
mm,
man created some dark shit with that.
yeah,
But he's a really nice guy and like to play mobile games.
yeah. So I'm gonna leave. I think we should end this with
Yeah.
his seminal art, the Turtle Hermit School uh, mastery, the Way of the Turtle Hermit, which was words I believe he lived by very well, which is work hard, study well, eat and sleep plenty.
Yeah.
So you all take care out there.
Have a good one.
And I'm gonna try and watch the taste of Suicide Squad out of my mouth for talking about it so long.
I'm going to go try and be more hopeful about Spider Man.
You know what? I think I'm just gonna rewatch some Dragon Ball.
Sounds good. Good night, everybody.
Take care.